The Bennetts lived at the edge of a small town in northern Ohio. Their house sat where the streetlights ended and the woods began, just far enough away that you could still see neighbors, but not hear them. Evan Bennett had insisted they stay home that year. No drunk drivers, no crowds. We'll do our own countdown, he'd said. His wife Marissa agreed. Their daughter Lily was only 9, and New Year's Eve usually meant staying up later than usual, watching the ball drop on TV, then being carried to bed half asleep. Simple, safe, familiar. That's what made it perfect. At 11:12 p.m., Evan noticed the first strange thing. The TV froze. Not a full blackout, just a frozen image of the countdown special. The host's mouth open mid-word, confetti suspended in the air like it had been nailed there. Marissa laughed. Great timing. Evan reached for the remote. Nothing. He stood up and tapped the screen. The image flickered, then resumed. They brushed it off. They shouldn't have. At 11:27 p.m., the power went out. Not the whole house, just the lights. The TV stayed on. The microwave clock went dark. The hallway light flicked once and died. That's when Lily asked the question that made Marissa's stomach tighten. Why is it so quiet? They all paused. No music from neighboring houses, no distant fireworks, no passing cars, just the TV murmuring softly in the living room. Evan grabbed his phone to check the outage map. No signal. He walked to the front window. The streetlight outside their house, usually buzzing faintly, was off. So were all the others. The road beyond was swallowed by darkness. At 11:41 p.m., someone knocked. Not loud, not urgent. 3 soft taps. Evan felt a strange, irrational relief. Probably someone lost power, he said. Marissa didn't answer. She was watching Lily, who had gone very still. Did you hear that? Lily whispered. Hear what? The footsteps. They stopped when you talked. Evan forced a smile and walked to the door. He didn't open it. He looked through the peephole. Nothing. No porch light. No silhouette. Just darkness and faint reflection of his own eye staring back. He unlocked the door anyway. Cracked it an inch. Hello? Silence. Then, from somewhere just below the doorframe, a voice spoke. You're early. Evan froze. Excuse me? The voice sounded calm. Male, close. You weren't supposed to answer until midnight. The door handle twitched. Evan slammed the door shut and locked it. Marissa was already pulling Lily toward the hallway. What did he say? She asked. Evan didn't answer. He was staring at the deadbolt, watching it slowly turn, then stop. Whoever was outside knew it was locked. At 11:52 p.m., the knocking started again, this time from the back of the house, then the side door, then upstairs, not all at once, one, then another, like someone was testing the house room by room. Marissa whispered, "Call the police." Evan tried. No signal. The landline produced nothing but static, and underneath it, something else. A faint voice. Counting. 8. 7. Evan dropped the phone. They hid in the master bedroom, door locked, lights off. The TV downstairs was still playing, but the sound had changed. The crowd noise was gone. The host wasn't speaking. Only a digital countdown filled the house, echoing through the vents. 0 hours, 5 minutes, 5 minutes. Marissa covered Lily's ears. That's when they heard footsteps inside the house. Slow, deliberate, not running, not sneaking, confident. Someone walked down the hallway, paused outside their door, then continued. Drawers opened, closed, cabinets, the fridge. A chair scraping against the floor. Whoever it was getting comfortable. At 11:58 p.m., a voice came through the bedroom door. Not yelling, not whispering, speaking like a host addressing an audience. 2 minutes, the voice said. You did well. Most people open the door. Evan grabbed the baseball bat from under the bed. Please, Marissa whispered, please go away. The voice laughed softly. Oh, we are going away. That's the whole point. At 11:59 p.m., the TV volume downstairs turned up on its own. The countdown grew louder. 10, 9, 8. The footsteps returned, stopping just outside the bedroom door. Lily began to cry. The voice spoke again, closer now. This part is important, it said. If you leave before 0, you're safe. Evan's heart slammed against his ribs. What does that mean? He shouted. No answer. 3, 2, 1. Silence. No fireworks. No cheers. Just the sound of a lock clicking open. The police arrived at 12:34 a.m. They found the front door wide open. The TV downstairs showed a normal broadcast, confetti, cheering, laughter. The Bennetts were found in the backyard, barefoot, frozen in place, not dead, but unresponsive. Evan's phone was recovered from the bedroom floor. The last video recorded on it was time-stamped 11:59 p.m. It showed the bedroom door, and as the countdown reached 0, the door slowly opened, but there was no one there. Just the sound of someone breathing, waiting. The case was never solved. No signs of forced entry, no fingerprints, no footprints in the snow. But every New Year's Eve since, neighbors near the Bennett house report the same thing. Their TVs glitch at 11:58 p.m. Their phones lose signal, and somewhere in the distance, they hear a calm voice counting down, not to midnight, but to something else. Everyone on Maple Ridge Drive loved New Year's Eve. It was the one night a year where the street felt alive. Porch lights on, fireworks popping in the distance, music bleeding through walls, neighbors shouting countdowns across yards like the world was smaller and safer than it really was. That's what made what happened so hard to explain, because the house was full and someone still got inside. The Harris family had just finished dinner when the clock on the living room wall ticked past 11:30 p.m. Evan Harris stood at the window, watching kids run through the street with sparklers, their laughter echoing in the cold air. His wife Claire was in the kitchen pouring drinks. Their 2 children, 6-year-old Noah and 9-year-old Lily, were curled up on the couch under blankets fighting sleep. The doors were locked. The alarm was set. Every window was shut. Evan remembered checking twice. That detail would come back later. Claire turned the TV on, flipping to the New Year's broadcast. A crowd in Times Square filled the screen, thousands of people counting down together, smiling, screaming, celebrating. She muted it. "Let's do our own countdown," she said. The kids cheered. At 11:41 p.m., the doorbell rang. Just once. Sharp, clean, too deliberate. Evan frowned. No one ever rang the bell that late, not on this street. People knocked, or shouted through the door, or texted. He walked to the entryway and looked through the peephole. Nothing. The porch was empty, no footsteps, no shadows, no sound. Claire stood behind him. "Who is it?" "No one," Evan said. Then the doorbell rang again. This time, longer, held down. Evan's hand hovered over the deadbolt. Something about the timing felt wrong, the way it didn't sound rushed, or drunk, or confused. It sounded patient. He checked the alarm panel, still armed. "Maybe a neighbor?" Claire said, though she didn't sound convinced. Evan didn't answer. He stepped away from the door. The bell stopped. For a few seconds, everything was quiet again. The TV murmured softly in the background. The kids whispered to each other, already bored. Then the back door handle rattled. Hard. Claire gasped. Evan moved fast, grabbing the fireplace poker from the stand. He shouted, "Who's there?" No response. Just another rattle. Then silence. They stood there listening, their hearts hammering, waiting for footsteps, for voices, for laughter, anything that made sense. Nothing came. At 11:52 p.m., the TV volume spiked by itself. The countdown graphic appeared on screen. 10 minutes, Lily shouted, trying to smile. Evan hadn't touched the remote. Claire noticed his face and whispered, "Did you..." Before she could finish, the lights flickered, once, twice, then stabilized. Evan told himself it was the cold, or the neighborhood grid, or coincidence. But when he turned back toward the hallway, he saw something that made his stomach drop. The guest room door was open. It hadn't been before. He was certain of that. Evan walked down the hallway slowly, the poker clenched tight in his fist. Every step felt loud, like the house itself was listening. The guest room was empty, the bed untouched, the window locked, but the closet door was cracked, just an inch. Evan stared at it, waiting for it to move. It didn't. Behind him, the TV audience began chanting numbers. 10! Evan yanked the closet open. Nothing, just coats, boxes, old Christmas decorations. He exhaled, shaky, embarrassed by his own fear. That's when he noticed the smell. Cold air, damp, like someone had been standing outside for a long time. When he turned back toward the hallway, Claire was frozen at the end of it, staring past him. "Evan," she said quietly, "why is the basement light on?" His blood ran cold. They never turned that light on, not unless they were down there, and no one had gone down there all night. The chanting on the TV grew louder. 8! The basement door was open, wide open. Evan didn't remember walking back into the living room. He only remembered the way Noah's small hand gripped his sleeve, and the way Claire kept whispering his name like saying it enough times would fix something. He told the kids to stay on the couch. He told Claire to call 911. Then he stepped toward the basement stairs. The light down there flickered. Once. Then steadied. 7. Someone laughed downstairs. Not loud. Not manic. Just a soft, amused chuckle. Evan didn't go any farther. He backed up slowly, never taking his eyes off the stairs. 6. The basement light turned off. Complete darkness swallowed the stairwell. Then a voice came from the darkness. Almost time. It sounded close, too close. The alarm panel began to beep, not an intrusion alert. A disarm countdown. Someone had entered the code. Correctly. 5! Claire screamed. Evan spun around and saw muddy footprints forming on the hardwood floor, one by one, leading from the basement stairs, into the living room, toward the couch. 4! Evan stepped in front of his children, raising the poker. The footprints stopped, right at the edge of the rug. The TV crowd roared. 3! A whisper brushed Evan's ear. Don't turn around. He didn't know how it was possible, but he felt breath. 2. The house lights went out. The TV stayed on. Bright, blinding. 1. The ball dropped. Fireworks exploded on screen. Cheers filled the room. And behind Evan, something clapped. Slow, deliberate. Once, twice. At 12 a.m., the power came back. The house was empty. No intruder, no damage, no forced entry, just one thing out of place. On the coffee table sat a phone. Not theirs. Its screen lit up with a single message. Thanks for counting with us. Police never found fingerprints. The alarm company swore the code hadn't been changed. Neighbors reported nothing unusual. But every year since then, Evan says the same thing happens. At 11:41 p.m., the doorbell rings. Once. And no matter where they move, someone always knows when the countdown starts. New Year's Eve is loud. You know how it's used to be. That's what saved them. Fireworks, shouting, music bleeding through walls. It all covers small sounds. Sounds like footsteps, like a latch being tested, like someone breathing just outside your door. This happened in a quiet town outside Rochester, New York, on December 31st, 2016. A couple named Mark and Danielle decided to stay home that year. No party, no bar, just wine, a movie, and the countdown on TV. Their house sat at the end of a cul-de-sac, backed by woods that went dark early in winter. Around 10:40 p.m., Danielle heard something from the kitchen. It sounded like the fridge door opening. She asked Mark if he'd gone in there. He hadn't. They both brushed it off. Old house, cold weather, pipes made noise all the time. At 10:58 p.m., they turned the volume up to watch the countdown. That's when the backdoor camera stopped recording. Mark didn't notice until later, At 11:03 p.m., the dog, a medium-sized lab mix, stood up and began staring toward the hallway leading to the kitchen. Not barking, not growling, just staring. Danielle joked that dogs could sense ghosts. Mark laughed, but the dog didn't move. At 11:07 p.m., something thumped softly against the back door. Fireworks went off at a nearby park. The sound drowned it out. At 11:12 p.m., the back door handle turned. Once, stopped, then slowly turned again. Danielle muted the TV. They sat there in silence. The handle didn't move again. Mark checked the locks. Everything was locked. The motion sensor light outside was off. The camera feed was frozen on a single frame, snow drifting sideways. They went back to the couch. They shouldn't have. At 11:24 p.m., the power flickered, just for a second. The TV stayed on, but the lights dimmed. Danielle asked if the storm was getting worse. Mark stood up to check the breaker. That's when he saw the back door. It was open, just a crack. Snow was blowing in, leaving a thin, wet trail across the tile floor. The lock was still in place, intact, but the door frame had been pried inward. Whoever did it knew exactly how much pressure to apply without snapping the wood. Mark whispered Danielle's name. She came into the kitchen. They heard movement in the hallway behind them, slow, careful, not running, not hiding, just walking. Danielle screamed. The dog charged and stopped mid-run because someone else was standing in the hallway. A man in a dark jacket, face partially covered, hands empty. He didn't rush them. He smiled and said calmly, "You're early." Mark grabbed Danielle and ran for the front door. It wouldn't open. Something heavy was braced against it from the outside. That's when they realized there wasn't just one person. From the back of the house, another voice called out, "10 minutes." The man in the hallway tilted his head, listening, then looked back at them. "We like to do it right at midnight." Danielle ran into the bathroom and locked the door. Mark hid behind the kitchen island, holding a knife. The men didn't rush. They didn't shout. They moved through the house like they were checking a list, opening cabinets, testing doors, turning lights on and off. At 11:52 p.m., someone knocked on the bathroom door. 3 soft taps. Danielle held her breath. A voice whispered through the door, "You don't want to miss the countdown." At 11:59 p.m., the TV in the living room turned itself back on. The volume was maxed. The crowd on screen began shouting, 10, 9. The men started laughing. Mark heard footsteps heading back toward the kitchen. He heard the back door open wider. Cold air rushed in. Fireworks began exploding outside. 8, 7. Danielle heard one final whisper at the door, "Happy New Year." Then the power went out completely. When police arrived at 12:17 a.m., the house was empty. No intruders, no footprints in the snow leading away, just toward the house. Nothing was stolen, nothing broken beyond the door frame. But carved into the back of the kitchen table, barely visible, were 4 words, "We were on time." Mark and Danielle moved out 2 weeks later. The case is still open, and every New Year's Eve since, the new owners report the same thing. At exactly 11:58 p.m., someone tests the back door.